Hey folks, Salty Seaman here. One question I get a lot, especially in person, people hear about my channel or people know about my channel, definitely in the comments a lot of times and on Q&As, it's like, hey, I want to do a YouTube video. How do I make my channel, my content, something that gets eyeballs on it, something that could be worthwhile, either monetarily or just in terms of having a lot of people see what you do, even if you have no intention of making it something that's going to give you cash in your pocket. As a person who likes both, and as a person who's made a little money and had a little success, I'm not a giant star whatsoever, but I've definitely over the last year and a half, the 2 years prior to that, starting the channel, and then once I had some semi-success, my kind of path along here since. I think I have a lot to offer on this, and I have a few points. I think anyone who's going to start a YouTube channel or a Instagram or whatever these platforms people want to use, Twitch is really big these days. I don't know how Twitch works. I watch the Twitch videos when they come to YouTube because I'm old, but I think it's very. I think there's a lot of do's and don'ts that could work for most people, not all. Everyone's going to have their own path of success if it's there. But I think there's some good general guidelines to think about. And I'm going to start with equity. I think this is so important, and any other tips I hear on this stuff, I don't hear that a lot. And I find that disturbing because, yes, anyone can talk about anything. And if you're entertaining and informative enough, good chance you're going to get an audience. But one real way to draw them in is if you have equity in what you're talking about. I run a mostly military channel. My equity is 20 years in the Navy. Other people of somewhat renown and celebrity come and they start their own YouTube channels. They're bringing a hell of a lot of equity in. They don't have to establish themselves. They just have to exist. Now, of course, I'm not talking about those guys, talking more like me. I'm talking if you are if you're doing some kind of pop culture thing, you're doing something specific in a topic you know about, you need to establish why you are a guy to listen to. Maybe it's just your personality. Maybe you're just so super entertaining with how you talk, how much you actually know or you have skin in that game may not be as important. But, establishing, early and often, that you know what the hell you're talking about, as long with, your entertaining and engaging content is going to help you a lot. Another thing is pick a topic, pick something that is, maybe not oversaturated. Now, a lot of people want to do video game stuff that's huge, and there's still people popping up make money, but it's a hard area to get into because there's more people doing video game stuff than anything else. So it's a hard one to break into unless you're bringing that equity in. I watch a guy, Jason Paradise, who does, basically I like watching him doing Guitar Hero memes. He does it on Twitch along with playing amazingly, but he has absolute skill at that video game. He's a real life guitarist. He's funny, engaging, and earnest. So yes, that can happen, but also look at, dang, everyone reviews movies, everyone reviews comic books, everyone plays video games. What am I bringing new to the table? So even in those broader subjects, maybe look for a specific thing you could focus on and something you're really into, you know a lot about, and you think I can make content for this, and it's going to stand out. Another one is cross-platforming. This is one I'm super bad at. I have a Twitter. It used to be my personal. I kind of gave up on Twitter, and now I turned it over to Salty Seaman. And it's good for getting tagged especially when you cross promote with other people. More platforms you have, the more they can link to you. Said, hey, this guy helped us out with this project. Go check him out. My friend Anthony does it. Another guy who brought in equity. He's just started a YouTube channel. Is just getting off his feet, but he comes in from the world of Transformers with the equity of he has the largest toy archive photo site in the world. So he already has a built-in audience. But when I do reviews for him, he always links me back. And I try to do the same thing for anybody who works with me on my channel. And cross-platforming is a good way to do that. Even if you're concentrating on YouTube, if you have that Instagram, you have that Twitter, You know, keep all those platforms updated. Facebook, you know, I'm trying really hard on the Facebook, and it's a hard go sometimes. But you know, finding your audience can be in a lot of different places. Another one, patience. Absolutely, you need patience, because it's not going to be an automatic go from the beginning. Going back to my friend, you know, even with all his equity, you know, his channel is growing in it, but it's a slow grow. He didn't immediately go up to thousands of views per video just based on who he was and what his website was. He still had to work it out. He still had to get the word out and find those people who are interested in hearing him do this stuff long form. You know, for me, it was, you know, it was figuring out what was my specific thing that I brought to the table. One of the main things you definitely can think about, you know, especially in terms of, you know, are you being too broad? Are you being engaging? You know, it's like, you know, what are your talents? You know, all these little things you need to think about. And you know, when it comes to, you know, when it comes to popularity, like, it's, you know, you can sit there and wait and hope something goes viral. You can sit there and think like, oh man, this is hot, this is tasty, like this could catch and this could be big. You can't rely on it. And you know, it's frustrating when your build is so slow. You know, I did 2 years. You know, I did 2 years before I got anywhere. And the first year I was just so over the place. You know, I had no focus. It was just everything I was interested in, and I ended up with this, you know, hodgepodge. But but it was good for me because it showed me where I needed to go. Because the one video that did anything was military related, which gave me the impetus to you know, go on and refocus this channel on something, you know, I'm very, you know, familiar with the topic and something I like to talk about. So, you know, that helped. But, you know, sitting there waiting for something, you know, just to blow up and, you know, catch fire, you know, it's not always going to happen. Sometimes you just got to wait for that audience to build. And yes, there hopefully will be spots along the way where something gets a bump, something catches somewhere. You know, and those are always good. You know, I've had, you know, at least 3 or 4 times, you know, I've had videos that did that, and you know, I'm very grateful that they did. But you know, again, not overnight success. It was over a year trudging along with pop culture and just everything I threw at the wall. Then a year of military stuff that wasn't getting huge traction until, you know, and I did finally get the one, you know, big hit. And then I had people go back and watch my earlier material, and they decided they liked that too, and that, you know, and that's what you're looking for. But you know, that kind of goes into the whole thing. You know, you can't predict when you'll be viral, when you'll be trending. If you could do that, you could make billions. But you know, just come out of nowhere and all of a sudden get trending. But yeah, one that's really hard is being the first. This goes into being original and, you know, having a focus not everyone else is doing. A lot of the guys I watch on YouTube, they've been around forever. They have a huge following, not only because they're good, because they are, but they started using YouTube way before everybody else did. You know, way before even there was monetization. They were, you know, creating these high quality videos. You know, and then they got on the ground floor before YouTube really blew, before monetization. You know, and they had a built-in following. But since you can't go back in time, the best thing to do, you know, if you're just straight looking for something, you know, try to find something you just don't see anybody else doing. It seems simple, even if it's inside something like video games. You know, no one's covering this aspect. You know, in the military, it's like, hey, no one's talking about, you know, this particular aspect of the military. No one's doing this or that, or maybe just the whole topic. You're just like, there's nobody talking about, you know, stunt cycles from the 70s or something, just to throw out an example. You know, those are things to look for. And finally, just an obvious tip, I think, is brush up on, learn something about video editing. Learn about sound. I'm not saying you need to go out and get expensive cameras, expensive audio equipment, you know, expensive editing software. Though, of course, all that stuff's going to make your stuff look better, and you know, people are going to be drawn to something that looks professionally produced. And certainly you don't have to do that. There's a lot of people who just, like, I'm not setting up my camera, I'm shooting this on my iPhone. Why? Just because this is on my head and this is ease of recording, and that's fine. There's a lot of people, that's all they do, and they do very successful. But you will definitely see an improvement if you learn, you know, there's plenty of videos on YouTube, you know, how to edit video, learning about, you know, if you're trying to do skits and whatnot, you know, learning about, you know, framing and composition and the rule of thirds, you know, and what a jump cut is, and, you know, matching action on your edits, you know, stuff you probably wouldn't even think about, but in your head you know is wrong, you know, stuff guys like me learn. But I don't think it's anything too difficult for anyone else, even if they don't have a background in media or film. You know, they're tricks you can pick up. There's free editing software out there for just about anything. Now, I use Premiere, I use Adobe. I got a free version from the Navy while I was in, and they gave me a key for life. I'll be using that until it dies and I am forced to go buy something new. So, but, you know, again, I come from, I know how to edit video. I know how to create green screen backgrounds. I know how to, you know, do edits that make sense. I know how to make sure my audio is not screwed up. Though even I screw up at times too. I make mistakes. And that'll be my last thing. Don't learn from your mistakes. Learn what's not working. Learn when you've talked out of your ass and you get called on it. You know, just take it in stride and move on. But for the most part, you know, don't let things get you down if it's taken a long time for you to pick up. You're getting no views, but you know what you assume is your friends and family, because it's like 12 to 15 views per video. It sucks. It hurts. But you got to plug on if you're really passionate about it and you have something to say and you're making engaging content. You know, hopefully stuff will start coming, and hopefully that one big viral thing will happen for you. Or maybe you'll just do a slow and steady and get to where you want to be. And maybe you're just in it for fun. You're not caring if you're going to get monetized. You don't care if you know, you have the biggest audience. You know, maybe you're only looking for, you know, maybe 1,000 people who regularly watch you, and it's not a bad thing to look for if that's all you want. So, you know, make it your own. Think about just the little, if you're really serious, think about the little details you need to make in life and in YouTube. Take this for what it's worth. I thought it was interesting. Salty Seaman out. Peace.